Man, that is a really cool intro, man. I didn't know which one to pick. Hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm JB, and welcome to Comic We are Modern Men. We're down a Modern Man right now, but you know what? We're going to be picking up maybe one or two extra ones during the course of the show. We figured, why the heck not? Let's just go with it. Anyway, man, that beard is looking good, Andy. You know we got to start with the beard.
Man, that intro was hot. I had not seen that one.
That world's the best.
Was pretty slick. It's opening to like an amazing movie. But yeah, this beard's coming along good. We're getting some depth going. Unfortunately, a little more color than I'd like, but hey.
A little more gray than you'd like, maybe?
Or the gray lack of color.
Yeah, there you go. So, hey, it looks like we've already got some people popping in the chat early, and I want to say thanks to them for popping in. Tonight, we've got kind of like a review. We're going to keep it short tonight. I think maybe about an hour, right? We're starting late because we want to get a special guest in, but we're gonna go over this one. This was a very interesting read. I'm gonna stay interesting. I'm not jumping like Saga going, oh, this is the best thing I've ever read. No, because it definitely wasn't. But we're gonna do a little review of this one, and then we're actually gonna talk in general the difference between that having this little guy in your hand in the difference between reading it in this format or what do we think the trend is going forward in the second half of the show? Or maybe we should do that part first. Give our guest a chance to come in if they really wanted to be on the review of this. You know what? How about, you know what? I'm just going to blow it up. CWood is he's not here, and he's probably watching this going, what the hell is he doing? We're not going to let the chat decide. Yeah, you know what? We're going to let the chat decide. Hey, chat, do we want to talk about Paper Girls in the first half of the show or the second half of the show? Or do we want to talk about our topic, which is trade paperbacks versus individual issues? I'm going to let the chat decide. Since we got some great people in the chat, let me shout them out, actually, because, we got to hit the chat. Scott Evans was in early, right? Mr. Gretzky, 99. By the way, Mr. Gretzky, 9966. There's just so many great people in this community. If I start going, I'm going to start getting all misty-eyed up in here. So let's just go into the chat. We got Chris Barrett. Chad R is in the house. Thank you very much. Stream Elements pops in. Ricky Marstead is here. Thank you very much. Bear Island Comics. There's the button. I keep forgetting that I'm in charge now because I'm in charge of the stream. You're working on that beard. Are you comparing the beard to the?
I'm modeling it for Adam really quick.
Because as soon as Bear Island's logo came up, you went back to the beard. Did it remind you?
I got a little flush when Adam showed up.
It did. That logo came up and it reminded you how good that beard was looking. Okay. Okay, so Paper Girl, is she made of paper? No, Ricky, no. We're talking about Brian K. Vaughan and this work here, which was chosen by our randomizer. And I'll tell you, let's just get into this, since this seems to be the hot subject for me right now. Yeah. Are you ready to get into some of this? We're going to take our time talking about this because I do want to kind of go over, I'm not saying chapter by chapter, but I do want to go over how much I hated it to start. And why.
I didn't really like it when I first started either.
I'm serious, because I feel like such a letdown. This is all pretty much the K. Vaughan I've read. And it's got me into now Saga 3, and here I am throwing up Saga. So this is all I've read of him, and I'm just so enthralled in the story from page 1. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Another Brian K. Vaughan, and it's going to just blow me away from page 1. And no, did not blow me away from page 1. Page 2, the kids on the bikes kind of were like, it was tough. It was tough early on. The artwork, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, come on.
Give me your impression when you first start this book and you see these kids. Do you care? It's tough to care early on.
But at first, can we go to the second page, and what kind of stark comparison do we have here? Does that remind anybody of something? It should. Saga and the TV head people. And at first I was like, really? Come on. They're just like, why? Yeah. But yeah, Adam's right. It does start a little bit slow. And at first I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, I hate the pastel colors. I don't like the pastel colors. But the more I read, the more it built the story and the more I kept going. And yeah, trade 1 does start a little slow.
You know what I said earlier on? It's in the Facebook legend. It's in the Facebook legend.
I don't think he's on the Modern Men Facebook.
Oh, and I sent it to your email. And if he's not on the Modern Men, then I guess I should do that also. But when this thing first starts and you got these kids on the bike, what did I tell you in backstage? I said this kind of reminded me of that. We're gonna just make this up on the fly. This really felt like a story that I would make up with my, with the kids when we all sat in the court and said, "Okay, what are we gonna talk about?
Yeah.
What? There are monsters. Yeah, there's monsters, and we're running from the monsters. Come on, man.
It kind of starts out like an 80s kids monster story, right? But
Exactly.
And a lot of people are like, we'll draw that comparison to Stranger Things, but this existed before Stranger Things did. It definitely existed before Stranger Things did. So it's not like they stole that from Stranger Things is what I'm getting at.
Got it. I just had to send the link there. So I just put it in the regular Comic Core one. There. Okay. I believe books are written with the intention to sell trades. Books 3 is...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of the independents, man. If you Image, that's their gimmick. $9.99, get you hooked. Come get you some more after that $10 binge right there.
Yeah, the next one's $20, right?
Actually, Paper Girls was a lot cheaper than a lot of the other ones. Usually you get an Image book, the first one's $10, and after that it's usually 15 or
15.
Yeah, these were 12, the other ones were $12.99. So that's not too bad, but there he is.
Dude,
now
it's good to be
this
here.
Is the point. This panel right here, and if anyone, I don't know, we're not giving this without spoilers. This panel right here.
Yep.
This is where the story changes for me.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned Andy why this changes for me. Every time I see something like this, I look up to him and say, "Yeah, you would have loved this one," because he was the huge conspiracy theory, aliens, the whole thing. He would have loved this. Now, once I saw that, I'm like, you know what? All right, now I got to see what happens, because my dad would read this to the end to see what happens, because now you're cooking. And from that point forward, things start hopping, right? Things start hopping. These guys show up. They start reading another language. Legend, you ready for me to blow your mind?
Dude,
And who do we give credit to for this? Because I want to make sure we give the right credit.
Well, I don't know. My wife found it online, and I don't remember who created it online. But you have the link that you can share in the chat, or you can yeah, here you go.
And these guys show up, start this stuff right over here, which you don't know at all what it means.
I didn't know.
Right? But you can make it up, especially when they're one word. You pretty much can make up that word, in a couple of the situations. And the story starts to get really interesting. And now you start introducing time hopping, right?
Yep.
Time traveling. And when they mentioned, because Legend, no one's ever mentioned this before. I know. How many times have we, Chad, how many time travel stories have you heard? How many time travel stories have you heard? And not once has anybody introduced the fact that, hey, if you travel in time, the Earth ain't going to be in this spot if you move into the future or the past.
Yeah.
I can't find
so cool.
I never thought about that before.
But it's true, right? The solar system and how it all is and everything.
I
It's
never
amazing.
thought about that before. And
Damn.
and I'm like, wow, now you've blown me away. Okay. You're sucking me in. I'm telling you, by the end of this thing, I put it down and was like, I need the next one.
Yeah.
What the hell just happened here?
God.
It was great. It started slow, but by the time I got to the end of this trade, and I don't know how many episodes are in this trade. How many?
I think is there 6 books? Well, I think
6 books total, 30 issues total, 6 trades, the 1 through 5, 6 through 10. What is it? Of 5 and issues of 5 up to 30 issue.
Corey,
dude,
it is.
You know what? After I read this thing,
yeah,
I freaking went on Amazon. I got the 2 deluxe hardcovers. They're going to go right next to the Chew section. And then I was telling Carson was telling me, he says he's just waiting for the deluxe, third deluxe, which is 21 through 30 to finish the whole story. But damn, and I love me some time travel. I'm all about them conspiracies and all that stuff. And like you said, when they found that one ship, dude, and then those teens, they got the voice translators, and then they said, hey, time machine, like you said, you go back in time, you won't be at that certain spot.
Yeah.
The planet's not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we read the first one. I read it, left it for my wife to read, and I was out and about running errands one day, and she's like, hey, where you at? And I'm like, I tell her, and she's like, well, hey, stop by the comic book store and pick up the next 2 trades while you're out. I got told to go pick them up by the boss.
Remember this one right here?
Yes.
It's just great. This is a great splash page because this kid's on the football field. And he says, I'm tripping my face off. He thinks he's done lost his mind. Yeah, no, this was it. He pulled
that girl that was out with him. Pulled her in for a smooch.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh man.
Then you end up with some craziness. It goes off the rails craziness. With this beast looking thing, right? Amazing.
That Cliff Chang, that art, and then that Matt Wilson on the colors on top of that, the way the palette is for this whole book. I mean, it just fits so freaking well together. It fits one of those Brian K. Vaughan stories, don't y'all think? Because y'all read the Saga. I know Andy loves his Saga. It's a Brian K. Vaughan, baby. When
I first picked it up, I thought the artwork was well done. The colors I didn't like. I wasn't digging with it. But you know what happened is those colors turned into the story.
Yep.
It paints a larger story. And the panels they do and the artwork, the way it comes out and the coloring, it's the world. It's world building is what it is. So
I don't know what's going on. I mean,
if you're flipping through it,
you still have no idea what's going on in here.
The more you flip through it, the more you dig with it, the less you think about the colors being the colors, and the more you're thinking about that being their world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the world building that Brian K. Vaughan does with the teams that he works with is astounding. I mean, you look back at Saga, and Marco and his people speak a whole nother language that you can't read in there, but that language was called what? Esperanto, which isn't a real language, but it's much like Klingon or the other one.
Tolkien's Elvish.
So it's like an actual made up language. And then case in point here, he's got something going on here, which we first thought was Korean. And then we found that link on Google where you can actually go in and you can actually translate each character into a letter to spell out what they're saying. So it's kind of neat that he throws in like a little decoder ring for the story, which makes you want to go back and read it again and read it again and read it again.
It does, man. It's just freaking awesome. I mean, the part where they're all in there, and it's weird how they get to was it Aaron's house and the stepmom's drinking, and then she thinks
train wreck.
She thinks at first, it's the rapture, like the husband's gone, all these people are gone. But it wasn't that. It was something different. And then she disappears after, of course, I guess, have y'all been spoiling the story a little? Or?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
The first trade.
Yeah, so Aaron gets shot, in the freaking gut due to the dumb gun going off. And then the mom, they look back, where the hell's the mom? She's gone. She's disappeared. But later in the story, you get to find out what happened to all those adults, in a little scene of some pods. They're all in these pods by this other, I guess, the bad guys. We can call them the bad guys. I don't know.
But you know what?
Which one's the bad guys yet?
That's another cool part.
Do you know who's the bad guy?
Yeah, really, who would really be the bad guy?
It's clear. It's because it's clearly the old man.
Yeah, the old grandpa.
Got everybody in the little pods there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is he a bad guy, or is he just being painted as one right now?
Yeah. What if he's the god of that universe or something?
I have no idea.
Right.
So we really don't know yet.
This is one of the most clever scenes that I thought this was a terrific kind of little twist where the one kid's got the gun and she's interacting with this this kind of huntress who just got off this beastly looking thing, and she's like, "You ain't gonna shoot me." She goes, "Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna shoot that thing in the neck." And oh, wait a minute! No, wait a minute!
Shoot the big beast first.
Straight up gave up her arms. She said, "Take my gun. Don't shoot that. Don't shoot her." That was great. That was slick. Anyway, I have the next one. I got to know what happens. I don't, So you guys did it again. This show is gonna break me. This is ridiculous. Between Saga, I'm on number 3. I've got Black Hammer I'm on number 4.
Damn.
And this has just been
all indie titles too, JB.
Great reading. Now think about what this show is reading. We're reading some great stuff, man.
I broke down and picked up number 3
of the Age of Doom.
I haven't been able to get into it just yet because we've been so busy, but I'm planning on getting caught up with you on that. One of my favorite scenes, though, in volume 1 of this, if I can get back to it while I talk for a minute, is the point where after that one instance takes place with their mom, and then she disappears, and she gets the young girl gets shot, and they're running away, and they're in the car, right? They're in the car.
Yeah.
What does that remind any of you guys of? 3, 2, Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Where he's in the back of the car bleeding out from a shot.
Yeah.
And it was, that was actually kind of pretty damn cool in my opinion, because Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorite movies, and that scene's kind of like this kind of fits with that, and that kind of fits with this, and it's like a kind of a nod to that.
What did y'all think about that scene right there?
Oh, I'm getting there.
That damn thing was cool.
I was like, what the hell?
What the hell is that?
It freaking wrapped around that girl, dude. It wrapped around that Tiffany girl, and then it was like it showed like her life before her eyes.
Remember,
all she was doing was playing
all that time playing this video game.
Yeah, the Arkanoid with the little paddle, the little circle thing. I was like, oh my god, this kid's really good at that game. But of course, she played it through all the seasons and everything. I thought that.
Yeah, I mean, it had the full panel of her like going through her life playing that video game. Flashing before her eyes, and then she realizes I've wasted my life playing a video game.
Yeah.
And then you kind of look. We can look at that as adults and say, "Yeah, we wasted our lives played some games too back in the day."
Oh yeah.
Damn. Well, while y'all look for some more kick-ass panels, let's check out this chat real quick, man. We've got Chris Barrett, dude. What? You've never had a Reservoir Dogs moment before? No, I don't know about you guys. I don't think we've had any bleeding victims in the back of our vehicles yet. Ricky Marchstat's in the house. 1-2 Comic Talk. Speedy's Comic Book Showcase. Scott Evans. There's CWood still at work, just stopping by to say hi. I give Paper Girls a 9.6. It was excellent. And then we got some Mr. Gretzky in the chat with a bunch of other folks watching. Wow,
it's interesting that Carson gives volume 1 a 9.6.
Damn, dude. Carson knows what I'm gonna give it. I'm going 9.8. I mean, time travel, the little deal at the very end when the humming thing sounded and everything flashed, and then boom, they find out they're in a different time period, and one of the characters, Aaron, meets her future self, and like of all the damn things, Aaron, the future Aaron, runs into the past Aaron right when Aaron gets to the future. I mean,
and how do you end it like that? That just had going. You got to be kidding me.
Speaking of time travel,
you're not supposed to be able to do that.
Speaking of time travel, we got DruManchu here in a whole new element.
Yeah.
I tell you what, guys, I love me some Paper Girls.
Yeah, Drew, you told me. You said you've been reading Paper Girls from the old school, man. And then I'm just getting on the damn thing. Carson told me it was awesome. I just get onto it. What's your thoughts been through the years of Paper Girls?
Paper Girls wrapped up. I think it was only 6 volumes altogether, 6 trades.
6 trades, 30
3 hardcovers. And I really loved the ending. I think Brian K. Vaughan nailed the ending. I can't wait for you all to get there and enjoy it as well. But it's one of those books that just you think it's one thing and it turns out to be something completely different.
Do you agree it kind of started kind of weird and campy and like this is like good, and then all of a sudden because I was not digging it early on, but I'm telling you it was good. I don't think I'm gonna go 9.6 up there stuff, but I'm gonna definitely
it's a 9.8. And I'm going to say
hate-
something very controversial to fans.
I actually agree with that guy.
The Last Man. It's Brian K. Vaughan's best book.
Oh, damn.
It is
Okay.
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, Saga's great.
I'm down with this paper girl.
And Why the Last Man was good too. But for what I want out of a comic, the character development, the Cliff Chang artwork is highly stylized with fantastic colors. It's got like this monochromatic feel to it, almost this pop art feel to the book.
Yeah.
And it never really loses its luster all the way through. There were arcs of Saga where I was like, okay, what are we really doing here now? Like, do we really need to go through all this? And Paper Girls never really had a lull like that. That being said, Saga's 54 issues so far and is going to continue and be more. I think Why the Last Man was longer than Paper Girls as well. But I think that as
over and wrapped up, I can actually read this to its conclusion.
yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yes,
wrapped
sir.
up. I
And
did homework on it.
and it's really freaking good, and it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Drew, when they did this scene right here, where they jumped in the thing, and then of course, you know, they have to use it pretty quick because they're getting attacked, and you find out what happened to the two teenage guys that got Aaron out of there in the first place. But then when that thing showed up with that black like tarp over it, then I was like, oh my God. And then you turn to the next page and old KJ or whatever, she's like, wait a goddamn second, the basement, you know, and then she puts two and two together. And when that thing hit JB, I was just like, oh, this is good. This is fucking real.
Well, and it blows their mind.
This is a great book.
It blows their mind that the entire time it was down there and they were in the basement, she was in that.
Yeah, that's a mind fuck. Basically,
Right.
BKB mind fuck.
And you're going to get a whole lot more
of
of that the more you read of this book.
I felt like this was some of that Grant Morrison mind effing that he does to me on all his shit. And I was like, damn, BKV in the house.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about it is that issue 1 ends with like the iPod reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Apple, yeah.
Right. And it's like what, 1984. So it just doesn't belong. And you don't know how far off the rails this story's going to go. And I'll say that to you guys as well. At the end of volume 1, you don't know how far off the rails this story's going to go.
Yeah.
Just know that it all comes full circle and it's got a happy ending and it's a really good book and it's worth checking out. Anybody who hasn't read Paper Girls in the chat yet, check it out, man. It's really, really cool. Scott
JB
Evans gives it a 4.5, says they'll never get to the ending.
JB, you know that Apple moment where she had a little Apple thing, and then I'm thinking in my mind like 80s Steve Jobs, you know, the whole slogan "Think Different." And dude, Brian K. Vaughan, he was really thinking different with this book. This is a fucking masterpiece. 9.8. Me and Drew, I gotta agree with Drew, and I don't agree with him very often. 9.8.
Wow.
But I went on Amazon tonight. I bought the damn the deluxe hardcover of the first 10 issues, the volume 2 deluxe hardcover with the 11 through 20. And I'm already waiting for the 21 to 30 to come out. And I haven't even read 1 or 15 or 16 through or whatever, 15th or whatever. I haven't even read the fucking all of it. I want more. I want to read the whole thing, JB. I'm flustered.
Holy moly.
I mean, I got to give volume 1 like an 8.5 in my opinion, because I just didn't.
I was going to go into like 9.2 for volume 1. You guys have probably read ahead, so you know what's about to happen.
It took a solid third of the volume for me to really get into it and really get pulled in and realize that they had something bigger at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first third of it, I was just like, or the first 2 issues, really, I was kind of like, are we going to ride around on bikes and just do this story? And then
the bikes, yeah, good shit.
It fits.
It fits.
Did really well. And the only reason why I give it like an 8.5 and drag it down is because I just wasn't, the first kind of 2 issues just didn't really seem to paint a lot for me. It wasn't until I was about a third of the way in. It's like, oh my God, okay, here's story. Here's a lot of meat. So that being said, volume 2 is 9.8 for me. I just finished it 10 minutes before we went live, and holy crap, that was good. Volume 2, wow.
I'll tell you this, like any alternate reality story or time travel story, Brian K. Vaughan does a fantastic job with these characters in a plot that just ends up being a snake eating its own tail. And the way that it all wraps up is really, really well done. I have a hard time judging volume 1, seeing as I've read the entire thing. But the entire thing for me is a 9.8. It's one of the better stories in recent comics.
Just remember how kind of quirky that thing started. So
for me, like I was born in 77. So at 1988, I was 11 years old. I remember seeing in the newspaper, the Friday newspaper, Monster Squad being in theater. I saw the Monster Squad poster on the wall. I just saw a lot of stuff from my childhood that was so cool because it was basically like a damn time machine for myself to go back in time, see this reality they were in 1988 and realize that's the exact place, kind of like how I grew up as well. I just fucking loved it. It was classic. You know how she talked to the guy dressed up like Freddy Krueger, calling him names and cussing and shit. That's how the kids were back in the day. We didn't give a shit. We was cussing, calling each other the F-bombs and all that stuff. It was classic.
But you know what BKV does a really good job in the world building and the storytelling here is in the 80s. What did we not have back then? Connectivity.
Mm-hmm. And
he actually paints a little bit of that in here where, you know, the phones on the walls, and people not having electronic devices. The old school walkie-talkie we used to have
that was connected to the CB radio. Those were the expensive walkie-talkies because you can get the CB channels on there. And if you got that, like whatever she had, like that was like a 20-channel walkie-talkie. I mean, with the CBs, those were great.
There's the whole blurb. There's the whole blurb in here where they're in front of a TV somewhere in the story, and they're talking about the news and how the news is where they got their information. And that's back in the 80s, you turned the news on, and that was your connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wow, I really kind of felt like that's where the story building really got to me and really started getting really good. And they continue on that when they move further into the story with the start, the contrast of moving into different timelines, and they're like, oh my God, what is this? What is that? Oh my God, you know, Hillary for president. We had a girl president. I'm like, that was really cool when that popped up. I was like, that's a funny nod.
Damn, dude, so freaking awesome. Well, I give it a 9.8. JB, what'd you give it again?
I said 9.2.
9.2 near mid minus. That's a damn good grade.
Mind you, we're only talking about the first volume too, not the entire story.
Volume 1. It was still great. Yeah, I loved it.
First volume for me. I don't know. I just got so sucked in.
Broke.
Andy, what was yours again?
I went 8.5.
8.5. And then Drew, a 9.8 mint.
I'm going 9.8 as well. And Andy, I think you said something in our Facebook chat, on the Modern Men Facebook chat, that you bought volume 2 and 3. And somebody stole them from you already.
Yeah.
I would definitely say to anybody in the chat here who's got a significant other who may not be a comic book reader, this is one to give them.
One of those stories.
Yeah, this is a book to give your wife, right? To be like, why do you like these stupid picture books?
And then you give them that one.
Right. This is a kind of story that has such a human element to it, and also such a bigger picture that is just really, really dope. I like the way that it builds itself as a paradox throughout the volumes, and it wraps itself up really, really well. It's definitely worth checking out.
You know, Chad Ramsden says something in the chat. He says, so this is a prime example of speculation. It's a great book. We all want to go lower on the review, but if it was a movie, what would your grade be? So Chad thinks if it was a movie, like, we would grade it higher. Now, granted, this thing has been optioned for a TV show by Amazon. I think it probably is going to be on Amazon Prime. That's the Brian K. Vaughan has got the picture deal with. Have you heard about that, Andy? Brian K. Vaughan got that picture deal with the Amazon folks, Amazon Television?
Not beyond the fact that it was optioned, but saying a comic book has been optioned doesn't mean a whole lot these days.
Yeah, I mean, you still got a lot of red tape, but they have signed on.
It's in production.
Is it in production?
He tweeted something out a couple months ago that I think it's in production.
There is a
doesn't mean that they're actually shooting it, but
there's a writer working with him.
That's the next step
on it. So there's an article about it online where he is got a deal going to. I'm thinking they'll put Saga on with. I think Amazon Television had just got the Paper Girls first because it was already a completed story. It was it's something they could probably have a high, quick turnover as far as getting the thing done. And then later down the line, since they got Brian K. Vaughan signed, then they could do Saga or whatever else, he wants to do.
I don't think they'll ever do. I don't think BKV and Fiona will ever let them do Saga. I don't think so. Allow them. A lot of people clamor for it, and then a lot of other people say that it's just not adept. Well, let me rephrase it. It's just not something they can convey on the screen as well as it is in the book.
I completely disagree with that. I think Brian K. Vaughan's original plan for Saga is that he did not like how everything was being optioned, right? Everything was being written to be a movie, was being written to be television, and he wrote that book in such a broad science fiction sense with all kinds of nonsense in it to make it something that was unadaptable to television or film. Mm-hmm. Since the time Saga #1 came out, the cost of special effects and the ability to make anything happen, like the cost has gone down and the ability to make anything happen is just really opened up to the point where like it's not impossible to make a Saga television show.
If they can make a Mandalorian, they can make a Saga.
Do you think he'll ever break down and let him do it though?
They give him the money.
Everybody's got a price, man.
Oh yeah,
everybody's got a price. I would say that. I mean, it gets to the point where it's 54 issues in now, and he's worked on other projects, and it's no longer like his baby. You know what I mean? Once your kids turn into teenagers, it's not that you love them less, right? But you're less protective of them. Right. You let them go out and make their own mistakes. And if he has the opportunity to tell that story in the way that he wants to on a platform that he wants to, and he's getting, big HBO money for it, I don't see any reason for him not to do it. That being said, I don't see it happening anytime soon just because of the scope of the story and the trouble they'd have with adaptation.
Do you think Paper Girls will be out in the next 2022 or 2023?
Yes.
I think that'd be a really good show on Amazon.
I think it'll be a great show. And I think that you can do each volume as a season, which gives you 6 seasons.
Yeah. Think about Hazel from Saga. I mean, y'all have talked about it before on here that you probably think that series will end when Hazel's an old woman telling the story to her grandchild or something like that. So that would be a great damn movie series. That'd be so
like a science fiction How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Right.
We can cast what's his name, Bob Saget as Hazel right now.
God.
All right, fellas, do you guys want to dive into the topic for tonight? Which really was, and I don't know how. Let me get your opinion. I mean, honestly, we're talking about individual issues or trade paperback. There's no way in hell I would hunt down all the individual issues for this. But at some point, do you go back because you love it, no matter how you found it, and invest the money into the collection? I don't know. That's kind of, one of the things we want to talk about. Trade paperbacks, individual issues.
Well, a year ago, if you asked me this question, I told you I'd never buy a trade paperback if I didn't have to. Mm-hmm. A year ago, I never would. Now, after being enlightened with this community and being a part of the Comic Core family, I'm more than happy to buy trade paperbacks to read stories, so that I don't have to pay 10 or 20 times cover for a key or something like that. And what I'll do now is if I find something I fall in love with and I'll read it in the trade, then if I have to have it, I'll go back and find the keys and maybe build the run from there. But a year ago, I'd tell you I'd never buy a trade. Now we probably have 2 short boxes full of trades over the last 12 months. And
that's good.
It's just one of those things where when I buy a trade, as long as when I'm paying for that trade, I realize that it's not an investment and I do not need to worry about getting that money back, and I'm buying it strictly for the enjoyment, then I'm okay walking out of the store with that and spending that kind of money. So usually what I like to do now is when my pull weeks are really short, like $5, $10, $15, something really light, I'll pick up a trade of something I've been wanting to read. Like number 4 of Black Hammer. I'll grab number 4 of Paper Girls, like if I have a week light week at the comic shop, We'll see what happens because the last couple of weeks have all been like $30+
Huge weeks.
Yeah, last 2 weeks were huge. Drew,
You want to go?
I'll tell you what, I've got two different schools of thought on trades versus single issues. I like trades, and I like trades to read, which means that if I collect a series and I don't want to crush those spines and dog ear those pages and wrinkle those covers and accidentally sit it on, a coffee table with a ring of water from condensation on it. If I don't want to do that, I'll buy the hardcover or the trade. Okay. Like House of X, Powers of 10.
Oh my God,
I needed to get this hardcover because I love the story and I'm going to read it more than once. Okay. Things like 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. I went ahead and picked up this hardcover. And I got, let's see, a little Matthew Rosenberg signature in there.
I mean, but these are things that you had every issue to anyway, right? Now you got to vote.
What's that?
But you have every issue. You read.
I do have every issue, but now I have something I can read without fear of ruining its value, whether it's valuable as single issues or not. Things like Orkstain. Needed to pick this up because I'm going to read it more than once.
Orkstain.
The thing that I absolutely love is if I'm not sure about something, if I don't go all in on the single issues, put it on my pull list, I could pick up Shudder, right? $10, number 1 trade, right? Middle West, $10, number 1 trade. Magic Order, $10, number 1 trade. Manhattan Project, $10, number 1 trade. I Hate Fairyland. This is another one I already have all the issues of, but $10 for a number 1 trade. These are image trades that for $10 I can see whether or not I'm willing to invest in the rest of the story. That's a fantastic thing that Image does with their trades. $9.99 introductory price point for the first volume. And I tell you what, I've gotten onto way more books that way than I've done through first issue of Image number 1s. I have a LCS that does a great job trying to sell Image number 1s. Oh, hey, they're new Image number 1. It'll be on the counter. And it's not only on the shelf, but they got it on the counter. New Image number 1 this week. And everybody wants that Saga number 1, that Walking Dead number 1. And let's be completely honest, Image number 1s, a good 99.9% of them are worth absolutely jack shit nothing. But that's the new story that people are going to be reading. And everybody, when a new Image number 1 comes out, the community goes, oh, it's a new Image number 1's out this week. Let's read this new Image number 1, see how it goes. Because you never know when. It's not about a value thing, but you never know when the next great story is going to come up. Exactly. And whether it's, a Magic Order, which, I didn't care for the ending, and they wrote it to basically sell another volume, or it's something by Millar as well, same writer, like Reborn, which I thought was fantastic and was 6 self-contained issues and just ended after that. You're talking about getting a chance to read these stories, and you don't have to put in the investment of time and picking them up over the course of 6 months or 7 to 8 months, depending on release schedule. You can get a number 1 trade for $9.99. It's stupid easy to start on these stories. Now, things like Marvel, DC, I'm rarely picking up DC trades. It's just not going to happen because the stories.
I was just going to ask that.
The stories haven't been compelling to the point where I need to have them.
There are no Marvel or DC.
I mean, I've got Marvel trades.
Marvel and DC trades.
I got Marvel trades, but most of them I've picked up for the purpose of just replacing a run that I'm absolutely loving. I got a couple X-Men trades that are just hanging out up there, things that I'm going to read, but. For the most part, if it's a Marvel book that I absolutely love, I'll pick up the hardcover or the omnibus eventually. But trades, man, a lot of indie stuff in trades because it's just they're not going to hold their value in single issues. A lot of modern books aren't going to hold their value in single issues. And if it's not something that I'm collecting for a run or as a completionist, it's great to get a $9.99 story that has a beginning, a middle, and hopefully an end, but a point that will draw me to the next one. And yeah, they go up after that. You're talking about like $15 for the second volume, but still not bad. And there's a lot of stories that I will read and trade, mostly indie stuff.
And if you think about it, it's actually a bit of a smarter play financially too, because that first trade, $9.99, if you bought the first entire story arc of every Image book that came out and paid full cover price for it, you're definitely spending more than $9.99 for that first arc.
See, here's that article I was talking about, the Paper Girls graphic novel adaptation from the legendary TV, and Plan B gets the Amazon series commitment. So it has that one gal up there. She's kind of like helping Stephanie Folsom. She's kind of helping BKV and the team kind of flesh those out for TV. So we just got to see, how long it takes for them to get a good screenplay on the TV side. And there's old BKV getting frisky in that picture, isn't he? But damn, Amazon Studios. Let me see. For me personally, you gotta love a good trade, and you gotta go digital sometime. Now, like Drew said, the DC and the Marvel stuff, I can get a lot of those via the Marvel Unlimited app and the DC Universe app, and that's a great way to read those. I do collect there's certain things I do like to collect only in hardcover. And as far as I love that Injustice series, so I get all those like hardcovers right when they come out. They're a lot of fun. I pick up some Marvel Fantastic Four trades, those Marvel masterpiece books or whatever they're called. Freaking awesome. But Comixology Unlimited, this is how I read Paper Girls, and it's kind of the same thing. You get the Unlimited Comixology, and they're going to give you that first trade because they want you to buy like the second and third ones off their
what's the price
app.
on that? When you're buying them digital, what are we talking wise? Cost.
Let's see. So the next one, I think they're about the same price as they are on the almost kind of like
the
hardcover.
It depends on timing too. Comixology, number one, has a monthly subscription service fee once you get past their initiation, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what it is. Drew maybe might know, but I want to say
I don't pay for digital comics.
You don't?
No, I don't. People are gonna think I'm a dick for saying this, but paying for digital comics is like paying for porn. Who the fuck is doing that? If there's something that I can't hold in my hands and read, or something that's hard for me to find, I'll pirate it, and I have no problem saying that. Like, if you want me to pay for your book, make it available. But there's absolutely no reason to pay cover price on a comic book for a digital version of that comic book, because they can just at any point in time take that platform away. Right? Comixology folds, all of your money's gone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, case in point, I do agree with what Drew's saying, and I was totally against reading comics digitally a year ago.
I'm not against reading them digitally. I'm against paying for them digitally.
Paying for them. Like, I didn't even want to read them digitally, though. You know what Stan Lee said best? Comics are like a woman's chest. They're best in your hands instead of on a screen.
That was always going to beat me on the digital.
But when Carson asked me to be a part of this show and I said yes, I didn't realize how fast I would need to get my hands on some of these reads.
Right.
And when my LCS has nothing, either single issues, and the trades are sold out. Like, case in point was that Ellis Moon Knight run. That Moon Knight run, even the trade paperback is sold out and out of print everywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't like paying for them digitally.
I'll send you a link next time.
Out of print too.
A lot of times when I go on here, though, like the last that Planetary run, it was $4.99, $3 or $4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll bite the bullet so I can read it right now and have it right now at my fingertips. So it's for me, it's like, I don't like paying for them digitally, but I can always make more money, but I can never make more time.
Yeah, I like that because, like, I'll pay for those unlimited deals and things like that. But like Drew said, as far as like paying $9.65 for Volume 2 Paper Girls trade, and then $9.69 would be the digital price or something, and then like $10.15 for the actual physical book. Shit, I'm go physical all the time.
Oh yeah, Paper Girls was case in point. When this hit the winning on the randomizer, I looked at Comixology and I saw it was only $1 off the actual trades. I'm like, I know my LCS is fully stocked with these trades, and I'm totally going to support them and buy those up in droves.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I love about physical trades as well is I love my comics, and I'm gonna bag and board them, and I'm gonna keep them as nice as I possibly can. And if I don't need them anymore, I'll sell them, get rid of them. Maybe toss a whole bunch in a box and be like, "Hey, who wants these on the internet?" But with a trade, I'm more apt to keep it on my shelf, or take that trade, which is a collection of stories, has a beginning, a middle, and hopefully an end. Whether or not that leads into another story or not, most of those trades will have an end to them. And I'll hand it to somebody and be like, "Oh, I think you'd like this." I handed my buddy who doesn't read comics. I handed him, what was that, Donny Cates? The Gods. God Country.
Country.
Handed him God Country, right? And he absolutely loved it. He said, "This was a really great read." And you know what I told him? I said, "I don't want it back. Give it to somebody else."
That's the good stuff. That's kind of what people
karma, baby.
That's kind of what we do on. That's kind of what y'all are doing on Modern Men, isn't it, JB? Because you're picking these new books that, and then some you may have read, some you never read, but you're reading them, and then you're sharing your experiences with that book to everyone in the chat.
They're going out. I got aunties hooked on Saga right now, and
right. If you get to the point where you're buying them all digital, you can't share that with anybody. You can't share that love with anybody.
JB, let's bring that up a little bit. The community has actually started a box that gets shipped to people where a take one, leave one situation has started, right? With trades and comic books.
That's nice.
Has it not?
Yeah, I've heard some rumor. This is kind of like a library kind of thing, right? Where
I think I remember hearing it last on your channel, where I think it may have still been in discussion, but they were talking about doing a box of trades or a box of single issues where take one, leave one. And the next person has an A-OK.
Yeah.
And that's case in point. The boss over here and I took our whole Walking Dead series, put it in a short box, and we've passed it around between our friends and family for years now. Like when we were really sold on Walking Dead, it's like, here, let's share this story. Our trades have been read probably 30 or 40 times.
Wow.
Chad's got a great point here in the chat, that sales of trades are down. I think that's just with LCSs, because I think if you examine how many trades Barnes and Noble
Amazon
is selling and Amazon is selling, I think sales of trades are probably up. And I think this is a whole different topic altogether. We can get into at some other point, but I don't buy that speculation is hurting comic book stores. No. I don't buy that people being excited to buy one single issue is hurting comic book stores at all. I think that a lot of LCSs need to adapt with the times. And
I 100% agree with that, man. Some of the places you're like, no wonder you're not making it, man. Come on.
Yeah, I went back to my hometown and went to 3 or 4 of the original shops I pounced around in the early 90s, and half of them were shades of their former selves because the owners just didn't adapt and didn't change, and the other half were thriving because they did adapt and they did change, and it's like one owner specifically is a huge DC fan and caters to DC customers, but because he doesn't cater to all of his customers, his business was down and his business was slumping, and his shop was a shade of its former self. It's
got to have those Marvels, don't you, Drew?
You got to have everything.
Hey, look, if you want to sell comics, you got to sell Marvel, because Marvel is comics.
Sell the Marvel. JB, what's your thoughts on the trades versus the single issues?
I'm very, very, very similar to the only trades that I had owned prior to this were the ones that Comic Tom would used to send me in the box.
Those mysteries, yeah.
I was not actively buying trades,
You got a lot of volume 3s of series that nobody was reading.
They're all stacked up, but those are the only really.
Hey, good for the pop-up shop, JB.
Hey, that you never thought about that doing a trade? Yeah, a whole table
Trade round.
Dude, I mean, you can throw a ton
And
of
getting
trades
on this
this.
show, you guys, said, "Hey, this is stuff," and I asked flat out when we cut, guys, and we end broadcast, it's like, dude, am I spending my money on this? Or are we gonna get this digitally? What is this? No, you should buy this one. Okay, and every single one I've been told to buy has just been, boom, like some of the best shit I've ever read, ever. Between the Saga and the Black Hammer, it's been awesome. So trade is now my go-to thing as far as catching up on a story that I was not exposed to. Now, will I go back and chase them? Maybe I'd chase the Saga #1, throw it up on the wall. I don't need every single one of them. Like, but maybe and now I might get one, but there's no way I would get, try and get any of these stories by the issue.
That's what I did with Chew, JB. Like, I went ahead and did the deluxe hardcovers. There's 60 issues, so there's 6 deluxe hardcovers. I've only read the first 10 issues of it, but I freaking love it, so I went ahead and just bought them all. So they're sitting there waiting to be read. But I did get me a 9.8 Chew #1. So you always do that,
She was really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I mean,
For me, it's all about story. And if the story can sustain for you through the entire run, there's no reason not to get it in trade, because if you're going to be picking up single issues, and if you're picky about your comics and the condition and the way you treat them, you don't want to be reading them all the time. Like, I read my new issues and then I put them away.
Then you bag them. And you made a great point. I'm a huge fan of Watchmen. I don't own any of the single Watchmen issues. Maybe one of these days I'd like a copy of Watchmen 1 9.8. But I like to collect those hardcovers so much, and the hardcovers display really good on the bookshelf. And I'm still waiting for that issue 1 through 12 of Drew's favorite comic, Doomsday Clock.
They're not going to release a 1 through 12. They already released the 1 through 6. They're going to release
the 6
7 through 12. And then eventually they'll do the oversized $400 worth of fucking bullshit edition that they do those. You know what? I love those artist editions, but I don't own any. I love when they put out those big honking artist editions. They look so nice in the store. I just can't reconcile.
I just want that deluxe hardcover to sit next to my Watchmen deluxe hardcover, and they could just be chilling together.
That Watchmen hardcover will look side-eyed at that Doomsday Clock. Like, what the fuck are you doing on my show?
Alan Moore be like, who the fuck is this Jeff Johns bastard sitting next to me?
How are we going to decide what we're going to do next? I don't have a randomizer.
Me neither.
Oh, it's on the internet, man. Random.org.
Random.org. Start filling it in.
Let me go.
But like, I'm totally.
I'll put the first one in.
I'm totally a huge fan.
There it is. Random.org.
Watchmen.
Back in the day, when you didn't buy a trade or there weren't trades available, you bought a reader copy.
Yeah, right. It's the beater copy.
I spent the 80s and the 90s buying 2 or 3 copies of each comic book I wanted, so I could have reader copies. I don't have to do that now.
Yeah,
and I save money doing it.
All right, we need some stuff for the list, guys.
Oh, that's
all right. I got a bunch of
Watchmen, Age of Apocalypse.
Hold on.
Walking Dead Volume 1.
Too much.
Oh yeah, Walking Dead. That would be a great one.
Ooh, Chew Volume 1.
You guys want to do Age of Apocalypse?
Chew Volume 1.
You guys want to do Age of Apocalypse?
Yeah, come on, chat. Let's address the chat really quick and see what they've got for us.
Yeah, what do they got?
I got a couple for you there, Ledge. How about Headlopper Volume 1?
Headlopper sounds
Headlopper.
good.
You're Headlopper.
Orcstain Volume 1.
Oh yeah, Orcstain.
Orcstain. That sounds like a band name. Ooh,
dude, Orcstain is so good.
The look on JB's face is like, what? WTF?
No, I got Age of Apocalypse. I got Walking Dead. I got Headlopper. Come on, give me something.
Are you on random.org now?
I Hate Fairyland Volume 1.
Ooh,
hey, did you get Watchmen, JB?
Oh no, hold on. Watchmen, I did not.
Watchmen, JB. Watchmen.
Ooh, how about the first trade of Die?
Oh,
Die.
Thank you, wife.
First Doctor After Trade from Chris Barrett. That's a good one.
Yeah, I got another one, man. What about
Southern Bastards? Yes.
What about the first trade of Immortal Hulk?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, that'd be good. I never read
Comics
that.
for Thomas put in The Vision That was really good. That's worth checking out.
The Vision?
Mastodon with Southern Bastards. Another great.
Eternity would be amazing too, because I have not read that and I really want to read that.
Mastodon says Huck.
Southern Bastards? All right.
Yeah.
Age of Apocalypse, Walking Dead, Headlopper, Watchmen, Die, Immortal Hulk, The Vision, Southern Bastards. We need DC, guys. Come on.
No, we don't.
Hi.
What happened?
Kingdom Come.
What happened the last time you guys read a
DC?
book?
Kingdom Come. The classic Alex Ross.
Pocket, Drew.
Mark Wade.
Who's this we? Do you have a mouse in your pocket, Drew?
Hey, JB, do you have Kingdom Come on there?
I just got Kingdom Come on there.
Kingdom Come's good.
What about the 100 Bullets?
Yeah, 100 bullets.
Yeah, now that Drew mentions that, I can't really think of anything DC that I'd be interested in. But that's why I'm on the show.
Super Sonic.
Have you ever read Crisis on Infinite Earths?
All
I
right.
have not.
That's really good. It's a good read. It's Marv Wolfman and Perez. Oh, sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to say that.
Who? You can say that random dude's name all you want. I don't know who that is.
George Perez.
Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, Chad gave a great DC when Jeff Johns' Blackest Night.
I got to do my gimmick now.
Oh, I love Blackest Night.
Blackest Night, like 400 issues.
Gimmick here.
Blackest Night, yes or no?
Yeah, Blackest Night, just the normal, the 1 through what? 1 through 8, Blackest Night.
Invincibles.
Invincible.
Ooh, yeah.
Who did Invincible, Drew? That Image Invincible.
Yeah.
Was that Robert Miller?
That's Kirkman.
Don't worry about the spelling.
Yeah, Kirkman.
Spelling's all
Isn't that
Robert Kirkman.
one of the Image books that's helped change superheroes in the 2000s?
I don't think any Image books have helped change superheroes ever.
Well, Spawn.
You guys are something else. All right, here we go.
Spawn Volume 1? Is that what you're about to say?
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Put Spawn Volume 1 in there since it's the only volume of Spawn that's readable.
Go back to the 90s.
Spawn what?
Volume 1. Spawn
Yeah.
Volume 1.
Spawn.
Hey,
Okay.
how about this? How about we make people read Barrier?
No.
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
Barrier.
Yeah, you got to learn Spanish.
Yes, you had no Spanish to read it.
Dude, Barrier. That looks like a deluxe hardcover. Is
That is also Brian
It's
King.
not. It's single issues came out and they're all like awkward
Right, that's
sides.
it.
And then later on, they sold me a $10 slipcase for them.
I
And I was
found
like, well,
Dude, what a
I
good
gotta have
collection.
I found
That's
them
a
all
good-
in a dollar bin and picked them up because it was written by Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh.
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's not
Chad,
bad.
Chad put another great DC one down. Earth 2
Ooh,
from the New 52, I'm guessing. The is that James Robinson's Earth 2 from the New 52? That would be a kick-ass first trade.
How can I make everybody read all 50,
Yeah, these look pretty good.
52 issues of
Age
Batman?
of Apocalypse, Walking Dead, Headlopper, Watchmen,
hey, one more.
First Trade, Immortal Hulk, The Vision, Southern Bastards, Kingdom Come, 100 Bullets, Blackest Night, Invincible, Spawn, Barrier, and The Dark Knight Return.
Oh, that was
How about
JB, put I Hate Fairyland on there.
Yes, please. That one, and then one more for me, please.
I would like that Earth 2 on there. Earth 2.
Yeah, do Earth
Shout out
2.
to Two Brothers Comics in the chat. What's going on, guys?
Hey, brothers.
Earth 2. What else?
Can we do volume 1 of The Boys, considering we're in between seasons right now?
Ooh, I've never seen that one either. The Boys, Volume 1.
There's another one from William Byrd that I've never read, but I've heard about it, and Howler Mouse tweeted about it over the weekend. Camelot 3000, an old Marvel classic. Camelot 3000.
Well, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, an
Okay.
old Marvel classic.
So, since
He wanted Earth 2.
How about
When
more
Chad said
DC
Earth 2,
throw
I
All-Star Superman on there?
Chad's not here. I mean, Chad's not here. Since CWood's not here, we actually can pick a number to
Yeah, do your thing, Chicken Wing.
randomly. What do you think? How many
We
times
got
we do?
2 thumbs up over on Facebook. Do it twice.
You talking about
2
JLA?
thumbs up, twice. Here we
Earth
go. There's once,
Go.
Oh, damn it.
and here's twice. Southern,
Yeah,
Southern
Southern
Bastard.
Bastards.
I'll take that.
Great
Southern-
Jason
Who
Aaron
wrote that
story.
Jason Aaron? Southern Bastard, all right.
Southern. I don't know what Southern Bastards is. Who wrote it?
Jason Aaron wrote it. It's a story about a football coach.
Damn.
Jason
Shit.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Southern
You lost-
Bastards.
You lost me.
Shout out to the Mastodon in the chat.
He picked that Southern
who
Bastards.
threw Southern Bastards out there. Really great read. I can't wait to discuss it with you guys.
Cool.
You lost
All right.
Hold on.
Well, there you go. That is our read for next week. Gentlemen, I don't want to cut you short, but I gotta go. You know, we got stuff
Really?
to do. I gotta
get back to my kids too.
DruManchu's going, no.
My-
No, I'm checking. We've been going an hour so far. That's pretty damn good. I think that's a good time to
pretty
stop.
good. I gotta wrap up. I gotta try and eat before my next show, and it's been a long day, gentlemen. This was a good episode. I think
Yeah.
great. Yeah, Paper Girls is another fantastic read.
Damn,
Just week after week after week, we have had just a great run of books. Great run of topics also,
Except for that time we did that DC book.
and we had a great legend show up for the show.
a lot of fun. Thanks
Very
for having me, guys. A great legendary guest tonight. And man, that was a kick-ass book. And what I love about this show that y'all do on Monday nights is I get to figure out something new that I haven't read. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm pumped up to read Southern Bastards now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Drew, give this show a grade.
Oh, this show tonight? Man, I showed up, so
Oh.
it's got to be a
I
qualified
knew you were
grade.
gonna go there.
Jim Mint 10.0, Jim Mint.
Let's be a little bit less egregious here. Let's go conservative estimate 9.6 qualified.
Qualified.
I was only here for about 40 minutes of the hour. So.
Yeah, and plus I'm filling in for Carson, so I'm just qualified.
It's great to see you down there, Legend, and good to get you in on here discussing another fantastic modern read. Guys, everybody in that chat, go out, pick up Southern Bastards, or find it digitally on any one of these platforms, or just type it into Google and see what comes up. But
Read comic online. So,
look, I don't want to take any money out of Jason Aaron's pockets, but I don't know how much he gets if you buy that on Comixology. Chances are not that much. So go find Southern Bastards Volume 1, give it a read. Meet us back here next Monday.
There you go. Thanks a lot. Talk to you guys later. Peace.
We had a good time.
Oh,
Catch you on the-
there.